Hi everyone, welcome back to a new video and happy Friday. I'm really excited to be talking to you guys again today. I took a little week off last week. I didn't really have much time nor inspiration for a video, and because I'd done 2 recovery stories that kind of took up quite a bit of my time, I thought I'd take a little week rest, but I'm back today with another video and one that I think you guys will get a lot from. This is a more general idea or a more general video that I want to talk about is how to stop being scared of your own emotions. Because what I see with most of my clients that struggle with anxiety, struggle with a lot of overwhelming emotions, that struggle with DPDR as well, is that they have a lot of their intense emotional reactions because they're not necessarily scared of something externally outside of them, but they're more scared of what's going on within. The emotions that they experience are so intense that they either panic, that they either just kind of freeze, not know how to deal with their emotions, that we suppress them, that we numb them, that we distract from them, and that we dissociate from them, which is a lot of what DPDR is about, is you disconnecting from yourself because of the overwhelming intensity of not knowing how to sit with difficult feelings. And therefore, if your feelings don't feel safe to explore, and your feelings are there and you don't know how to escape them, that's why part of DP, especially depersonalization, is a disconnection then from yourself. So I have 4 little steps for you that you can follow very easily if you want to overcome your fear of sitting with your feelings, if you want to overcome the fear of your emotions in general, that I think you will find very, very helpful. So let's dig straight in. The first step in overcoming your fear of your own emotions is very simply understanding them better. I think a very large part of why we feel so scared to feel such intense emotions, or even not intense emotions, but emotions in general, is because it's the unknown. We're not used to sitting with that discomfort. We're not used to exploring that. Plus, we also don't always know why certain emotions are there. And it's that unknown element of these emotions. Why do I feel this way? Why is this so intense? That makes us think that something's actually wrong with them, that something's actually wrong with us for experiencing them, but that we don't really know what it is. And that's part of why it feels so scary, is that we don't really have a grip on these emotions. We don't really understand them. So part of what actually gives us more relief in sitting with emotions is when we understand where they come from and when we understand why they're actually there. So this is where inquiry comes in, which is very helpful. You could do this in the best effective way possible through finding a good therapist or coach that you can work with. But if you do not have access or means to that, you could always go to journaling, for example, and you could start with seeing what emotion comes up and just trying to sit with it, open up to it, and ask it questions like, what is this emotion trying to make happen? For example, if you're feeling anger, maybe this emotion is trying to make you stand up for yourself, is trying to find justice for you. If you feel sadness, maybe this emotion is trying to process the losses of something. If you feel fear, very often your emotion is trying to protect you in a way. So by just having an open, I would say, conversation with your emotion through journaling, through talking to a therapist, talking to a friend, talking to yourself if you have to, and really just trying to understand the emotion better, so that you know why it's there, where it comes from, and why it's what it's trying to do for you, is going to help you take that unknown element out of the equation, which will already bring you big relief. The second step is then to become aware of how this emotion is in fact a protective mechanism for you. I think one very misunderstanding in how we look at emotions is that we think emotions are disorders, or that they are wrong, or that they are not as they should be, that they are against us sometimes. And the thing to understand about emotions is that every emotion you will ever feel is working for you, not against you. Sometimes it's out of proportion when there's something not completely clicking, or when your brain is misinterpreting something based on past trauma. But every emotion that you have is trying to do something right for you. Like I said before, if you feel fear, it's trying to make you flee danger. If you feel stress, it's trying to make you change your circumstances so that you're more in control of your environment. Your emotions always want to protect you in the highest way possible. And if we can understand that through, for example, in the first step, really questioning our feelings and where they come from, we'll change our perception on these feelings instead of seeing them as something that's wrong with them, with us, or something that's wrong with our brain, therefore feeling freaked out or panicked of ourselves, to actually see, okay, as intense as this emotion might be, this is actually trying to do something right for me. This is actually protecting me in a way. Maybe you could even thank the emotion for showing up and being there to protect you, which is something that is very helpful in doing that inquiry, is actually thanking your emotions for trying to be there for you in the first place. The third step then is understanding and questioning why you might have certain judgments around your emotions. So this is something that I see for example, a lot with people that are very, very sensitive by nature, but that did not grow up in a household or in a family where they were really nurtured and supported for that, but where their intense feelings were were made feel judged for or suppressed, or maybe even you were treated with anger when you felt a lot. This can make you feel like you're not safe to feel, or like it's not acceptable for you to feel, or like your emotions are a burden on other people. So you might have, based on how you grew up, based on how you were taught to accept or deal with certain emotions, maybe you were made feel ashamed to feel intensely, to cry, to be afraid. Maybe you were neglected for it. Maybe you were maybe you had a strict parent that said when you felt something that there's something wrong with you. Maybe like really questioning where your judgment on your intense emotions can come from, and if it even belongs to you. Because something that I see with a lot of men that I work with is that they have this general idea that it's not acceptable for men to be emotionally vulnerable, or that it's not acceptable for them to feel intensely because they're supposed to be these rational, like rational beings that never show emotions, right? So questioning where these beliefs come from and if they are even true. So you could question, well, is it true that I'm not allowed to feel my emotions? Is it true that it's not safe for me to have anxiety or to have sadness around something? Maybe you could question the belief and actually choose what belief system you would want for yourself, not based on what you were taught by your parents, by society, by that one teacher that once, punished you for crying, but really choosing your own belief system that would nurture you in order to create the safest, warmest, most loving place possible for your emotions to be processed and actually can also depart. Because when an emotion is fully free to be processed, it can also leave you, or it can get smaller over time. And the last little tip, or the last step, I guess, in you being more open to feeling your emotions or less afraid to feel them, is actually, once you take these 3 steps, taking that next exposure step and really letting emotions flow freely. And a beautiful metaphor that I discovered for this recently was by a Tara Brach episode that I listened to, and she described this metaphor of sitting on an icy couch. If you say that you, hypothetically speaking, have this couch made of ice, then you don't want to sit in it because it's uncomfortable and it's going to make your butt freeze and it's cold. But the moment you sit down and you just relax into it, the first second is always the worst. And the moment you relax into that chair, first of all, you start to get adjusted to the cold. It doesn't feel as painful anymore. And secondly, the chair starts to melt because your body temperature will make that icy couch turn into a more watery couch maybe. And that's really what our attention does to emotions. When we can be present with them, when we can let them flow, when we can sit into them, as uncomfortable as they might feel, we actually make them melt. We make them softer, we make them warmer, we make them get smaller and smaller over time. And so the last step for you is, once you've done the first 3 steps, which is understanding your emotions better through journaling or therapy. Secondly, through seeing them as your protection mechanisms, you can really change your perspective of them, your perspective on them. Stop seeing them like your enemy, but see them as your protector. And thirdly, understanding maybe where your judgment around them comes from and really letting go of that. then it's time to put that into practice and just take that step in facing those feelings and sitting with them, even if they're uncomfortable, which meditation is really good for example, mindfulness exercises, all that type of thing. So this is a little short video for you to reflect on how you can feel more comfortable embodying your emotions, feeling your emotions. I hope that this video helped you guys and that you will have a lovely rest of your day. I look forward to hearing about your thoughts in the comment section, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!